So, exopolitics is the art or science of our political relationship with extraterrestrial civilizations. So, whether you believe that some of the UFOs seen in the sky are inhabited by extraterrestrials or flown by our own people, government or otherwise, there are many seemingly credible individuals and some not so credible that speak of a narrative that involves extraterrestrials interacting with our civilization. There are countless websites, interviews, YouTube pages, whistleblowers, eyewitness testimony, and other sources that tell of a tale of extraterrestrial proportions. There are more people from all types. There are more people from all types of backgrounds, whether it's military or civilian. Some claim they are abductees or contactees. An abductee is forced against their will by extraterrestrials, and a contactee works freely with ETs with consent. The contactees tell of horrific stories of being experimented on by malevolent ETs. Some of them have to look for a professional to uncover suppressed memories of an abduction. There are some individuals that are very devoted to their belief in extraterrestrials. There are some that are closed-minded to the fact that ETs could have some agenda or agendas on this planet. So what makes people so open-minded to it? It might be the fact that they're infatuated with the idea of ETs, or is it something else? Perhaps some of them may have experiences with ETs, or perhaps it's just our government officials dressed up like aliens for whatever reason. We do have very realistic costumes and special effects. We could probably even stage a fake UFO invasion, possibly. Perhaps you could be sleeping and feel paralyzed, and before you know it, there's a bunch of aliens at your bedside, and then possibly, they take you to their ship, like sleep paralysis. One day, it could be a demon-looking dude, or some alien guy, or guys, or gals, or a ghost, or whatever else. There's a guy that claimed that he got a bit physical with some hot alien ladies. That could be a possible fetish for some people. I don't know. Or maybe he really did. You talk to some of your bros, and you're like, yeah, man, I just scored with two hot Palladian chicks. They would be like, cool, man, that sounds awesome. Maybe he just dreamt about it. Who knows? So we have to ask ourselves, why would aliens want to observe and interact with us? If they actually are they benevolent or malevolent? If they are malevolent, why haven't they taken the planet? Why haven't they taken over this planet? Are they planning to take over the planet in the future? Are we just a TV show to them, as a South Park episode suggested? It's a really good episode, by the way. Check it out. Is there a longer agenda at hand that involves benevolent ETs trying to wake up humanity to higher levels of consciousness, like some goofy New Age movement? At the same time, are there malevolent ETs trying to suppress humanity from waking up, like some big Illuminati alien conspiracy? So based on some research I've done, and I've been interested in this subject for many years, that some people claim that our junk DNA isn't actually junk. It's latent alien DNA, apparently. That apparently we are the result of not evolution, but alien genetic programming. That we are made up of 22 different alien races. Sounds a bit hard to believe, right? Well, I'm not quite sure either. There are many body types, races, and physical features of the human race. Just because there are such a variety of genetics for human beings doesn't mean we were a genetically engineered race. not necessarily. And dark-skinned people were naturally towards the equator, and light-skinned people, and light-skinned people not so close to the equator. Makes sense, right? Or did the aliens intentionally put the different races in specific areas for a reason? Or did certain races migrate to different areas because it suited them better? Perhaps their DNA is naturally guiding them like a compass to the appropriate environment, as an environment that would resemble more closely to the native planet, or environment that would be closely linked with the genetics that the person would have. I'll tell you this: it may explain why the ETs may or may not be here. So based on some research, apparently the human form originated from the constellation Lyra, a malevolent group of ETs that resemble reptiles, also known as the reptilians. You may have heard of them, possibly. The ones that are shape-shifting politicians and not trying and whatnot, trying to infiltrate our ranks in areas of power to eventually take over the planet. Right, that's them. They invaded the blonde and blue-eyed humanoids, the peaceful Lyrans, and they ended up fleeing to different star systems in our galaxy, apparently. The Lyrans started colonies in these different star systems and started to evolve independently from one another. The different Lyran colonies started to form an alliance called the Galactic Federation of Light. Sounds kind of cheesy. Or the GFL, or just the Federation. I think the Galactic Federation of Light sounds a bit new agey, so I like to call them just the Federation. Some of the Lyrans ended up settling our solar system and initially started colonies on Maldek and Mars. The Maldekians and Martians interacted with each other. Eventually, the reptilians came into the solar system and destroyed Maldek and rendered the Martian atmosphere uninhabitable. The reptilians made a colony on Lemuria at the time, and eventually the Federation sent out their members, a Palladian race called the Atlans, to settle Atlantis. The Atlans and the reptilians had a war against each other where both sides suffered great losses. They eventually gave up on the war and decided to make a truce by creating a new breed of humanity on the planet. Yeah. Right. This new form of humanity would have genetics from different ET races, including reptilian DNA in it. Apparently, the Federation races had the neocortex and the mammalian brain. The new human would have the neocortex, the mammalian brain, and the reptilian brain. The reptilian brain sparks up the flight or flight responses. It's the fear part of the brain. It makes you fearful in certain situations, right? Fight or flight. I guess the Federation races didn't know fear or responded to life-threatening situations in a different way. Maybe they were more like Vulcans from Star Trek, where fear was illogical. Well, because the Federation and the reptilians wanted the Earth and the solar system, the human race became a means to stalemate the war until humanity either becomes brainwashed and controlled by the reptilians via control of the power structure on Earth and various means of manipulation, or humanity would wake up and become aware of the manipulation and stop starting wars over oil and religion and start to wake up and become responsible galactic citizens. So it seems that we are the ones that both the malevolent and benevolent forces have been waiting for. It appears it is up to us to become aware of the greater reality and gain membership with the Federation, or become ultimately enslaved by the reptilian agenda. Or maybe all of this is a crock of shit and our world is ran by a bunch of jerks that want nothing but suffering and death to the human race and wealth and power for themselves. Perhaps this world is ran by a bunch of half-reptilian, half-human beings that are carrying out this malevolent agenda. In other words, shape-shifting reptilians. Yeah. Either way, our world is in a dire need to wake up and realize what we're doing to this planet and what we are doing to ourselves. We need to take responsibility for ourselves. We shouldn't wait for some higher power to come down and clean up our mess. Each of us needs to be self-realized and responsible beings. And as always, explore the inner universe that is yourself.